Okay, guys. Hi, this is Jackie M again. Hope you've been well. I'm going to do just a very hopefully short broadcast today because I'm just doing fried noodles, and the reason will be a carryover reason from the other day when I got a data usage warning from Telstra because I use 4G internet for my live broadcast, which means I'm limited to not a whole lot of data for a whole lot of price, right? And apparently by using Twitch, um, I'm going through my data like nobody's business. So while I'm organizing for more data through a different mobile service provider, I'm having to ration my data usage. And here's Noah. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jackie M. And I'm a former Malaysian restaurateur based here in Sydney, Australia. And Noah. Noah's my Down syndrome toddler, and we've been having a battle of wills off air earlier because he's refusing to put away his toys, and I'm refusing to grant him any TV privileges until he does. So he's a little bit being a little bit unsettled at the moment. And just let me quickly share this across my social media because it seems as though my assistant isn't around at the moment. So just give me a second while I make sure. If you've got any problems hearing me, by the way, guys, just let me know, okay? Because unless you tell me, I don't know if I sound muffled or if there's no audio or anything like that. So, and if you're watching this anywhere except Twitch, head over now. If you're watching this live, head over there now at basically just JackieM.live. That will take you to my Twitch page, and that's where you can interact with me in my chat. Okay, but just give me a couple of minutes while I share this broadcast across to Facebook and elsewhere. Okay, hang on a sec. Where are we? Okay, please work. Okay. Yeah, just give me a couple of seconds, all right? Copy. Live now. No. And just let me share this across the oh, sorry about this, guys, but Twitch at Jackie M. Live now. Okay. Post. Okay. Here we go. And before I go on any further, as usual, I'd just like to give a shout out to Lenovo Australia for the laptop that I use for my live stream, and also the laptop that or the desktop rather, that I use for monitoring my broadcast, and also to Rode Microphones Australia, who supply me with the microphones I use for my broadcast. Okay, and I'm cooking a Cantonese dish today. It's a little bit different to the fried noodles that I'm actually, I guess, fairly well known for here in Australia. But give me a second, let me hop back onto Twitch. Okay, yeah, and in the meantime, if you've got any questions at all, hit me up, guys. So now, here in Sydney, Australia, for those of you who don't know me, I actually run a real-world Malaysian food business, and one of my specialties is what we call char kway teow, right? And literally, it just means fried rice noodles. Rice noodles as in fresh rice noodles. And I'm going to actually, but this is the dish I'm cooking today. Also fresh fried noodles, also stir fried, but not the Malaysian version that I do, okay? This one here on my left on the screen is what I'm going to be doing today. And that's actually a picture from my brother. Okay, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. I'm just going to bring on my other camera. Where are we? Okay. Okay, so that's my camera. It's not quite zoomed in enough today, so you can see a bit of the mess on my table. But I'm going to be cooking these fresh rice noodles over here, but in a different style to what I usually cook them, okay? Now, these rice noodles, okay, literally, if you see on the label, it says fresh rice noodle. And again, I know that actually is quite a general term for noodles that aren't actually like fried or similar. But fresh rice noodles, I'm doing this Cantonese style, Hong Kong style. When I came to Australia, most of the Asian restaurants, yeah, no, okay. Okay, you sit over there. Most of the Asian restaurants were run by Chinese from Hong Kong, and one of their specialties in the list of noodle dishes on their menu is what we call in Cantonese gong chao ngao ho, which literally means dry fried beef noodles, okay, beef rice noodles, okay, dry fried as opposed to in a sauce or a gravy or something like that, right? So I'm going to quickly go through this because there's a couple of points I want to bring up. Okay, this is just a pack of topside used for stir frying that I bought at my local IGA. This was. Usually the Chinese like to buy their own cuts of beef and then slice them up, right? But we're going to keep it simple today. So I've just bought this over here. Now, this particular recipe, just grab some gloves, okay? Now, if you ever go to eat out at Chinese restaurants, right? Hey, Avril, good to have you. Yeah. Now, if you ever go to Chinese restaurants and you eat any stir-fried beef dish, you'll notice that the beef has a different texture to the kind of beef Westerners are used to, okay? And the reason for it is that it's been tenderized, right? And, okay, so this is the beef here. Usually, like, you know, if you were doing it full bore Chinese, you would actually use the back of a Chinese chopper and actually kind of like, you know, beat it up just to tenderize it. But I'm not in my kitchen, so I don't want to make a big giant mess by doing this, okay? So I'm just going to use it straight out of a pack over here. But I am going to tenderize it Chinese style, okay, which involves using bicarb, soda bicarb. So this is a bicarb of soda. You can buy these in big bags in Asian grocery stores that supply to restaurants because Chinese restaurants use this a lot for tenderizing their beef, okay? So this is a little bit, I guess, one of those other dirty little secrets of Asian cooking that we use this because, just let me show you what the beef looks like over here. Because the bicarb of soda is alkaline and it adds a kind of like a funny flavor to your beef, especially if you use too much of it, right? But when this whole Malaysian thing, right? I started doing Malaysian food full bore back in 2001 when I came back from the UK. But before I went to the UK, back when I was in my like 20s, right? I actually experimented with running a generic Asian eatery, okay, so not specifically Malaysian, but just Asian dishes. And I did used to use this bicarb of soda to tenderize my beef with. And I've just put a little bit, I've sprinkled a little bit over here. I might just put a little bit more. So, and I've just mixed it up with a little bit of water just to kind of like help it work its way through. And what it does, because it's a, you know, it's a tenderizer, it will break down kind of like the muscle fiber in the beef, okay? Now, I want to let this rest for a couple of minutes and I'm going to rinse it out, okay? Now, you're going to find most Western recipes for this particular dish or for any Chinese recipe that requires tenderization. A lot of them actually use, first of all, they use baking powder, right? And baking powder actually does contain bicarb soda. but the Chinese traditionally actually use bicarb or soda, but you can use baking powder as well if you want, okay? But just so you know, that's the point of difference. And the other thing is that a lot of the Western recipes tell you to just use a little bit, and then you add the other seasoning ingredients, and you don't rinse it out, okay? What I'm going to do, and what the Chinese usually do actually, is stick the bicarb of soda in first, and then we're gonna like let it sit for a few minutes, and then we're gonna rinse it out, dry it out before we add the marinade ingredients. So that's the other difference as well. The reason being, like I said, if you leave the soda bicarb in it just kind of like changes the flavor a little bit. It makes your beef taste a little bit alkaline, to be honest. So I'm going to counter that by adding some rice wine in the marinade after I've rinsed it out, okay? So those are a couple of those tips and tricks that I made for your benefit. Now, this particular recipe is my brother's, and my brother is actually a Presbyterian church minister. His name is C.S. Tang, and he likes to cook, okay? He probably is a little bit more passionate in terms of being quite a bit of a purist than I am a lot of the time, because a lot of the time when I cook in terms of, I think in terms of scalability, because I used to own a restaurant, and I sometimes cook for hundreds of people. And in fact, I've got an event coming up where I'm going to be cooking for 350 people. So I do take shortcuts. I do like kind of like cut corners, you know, for what it's worth, whereas he's more of a purist. So some of my recipes, actually, I know a lot of, I never give him credit for it, but some of my recipes are in fact actually originally from him, like my yong tofu, which is the stuffed fish paste, stuffed vegetables and that sort of stuff. So he you know, he does know his cooking. But he posted a picture on WhatsApp yesterday in our family group of this beef fried noodles, right? And I asked him what he used in it, because like I said, this is a Cantonese dish, and although like Malaysia has a strong Cantonese influence, it's still Chinese. It's not something that I had ever attempted to cook per se, because my specialty is more kind of like strictly Malaysian, right? So he gave me his list of ingredients, and I'm gonna try it. If it doesn't work out, I can blame him. But his ingredients, and I've done some research on this particular dish, and his ingredients are probably a little bit, I wouldn't say unusual, but you're going to find a lot of variations to this recipe. First of all, I'm going to talk about Asian recipes online, okay? It seems to me that a lot of bloggers, they borrow from each other, right? So one person who may or may not have had any industry experience, like say a glamorous blogger with lots of nice pictures, might post a particular recipe for a dish that might be about 80% correct. It seems as though then 50 other bloggers copy that same recipe and then repost it, sort of thing. So it basically gets transmitted that way. But having said that, there are certain variations to the sauces that go into this recipe. And my brother's actually is his own concoction, okay? So the sauces that I'm going to use for this particular recipe are in fact a little bit different to what you would generally find for this particular recipe, and a lot of it is because of our own personal preferences, like taste-wise, okay? I can see why he used them. First of all, he's using fish sauce, okay? And fish sauce is not a thing in traditional Chinese cooking or Cantonese cooking, okay? But he thinks it helps bring out the flavor in the noodles. So I'm going to go with fish sauce. The other thing he uses is oyster sauce. And for this particular dish, usually they use soya sauce plus a pinch of sugar. I think oyster sauce probably could work because it adds a little bit more body to it. So I'm going to go with his selection of using oyster sauce. And the other one is the thick soya sauce, which everyone uses pretty much for this particular dish. Okay, so no sugar in my particular recipe or my brother's recipe, but he uses oyster sauce instead, which does have a little bit of sweetness to it. So I guess that kind of like oyster sauce has sweetness and saltiness. So I guess it does the work of the soya sauce plus sugar, right? So those are the kind of ingredients we're going with. I'm going to make a couple of tweaks to his recipe because I'm going to add some ginger to mine as well, which he doesn't have, okay? And I noticed in his picture earlier that he actually used garlic chives in here. So I do have garlic chives, but I couldn't be bothered running downstairs to grab it. And I do have some Chinese greens left over, these choy sum, right, that I'm going to throw in instead. And I'm also going to throw in some green onion over here, or scallion as they call it in America, right? So let's get into it. First of all, this has been marinated, it's been tenderized. I'm going to quickly run into the kitchen and just rinse this out and just pat it dry, okay? Okay, so this just been rinsed out, and the texture just feels a little bit different now. It feels a little bit more translucent, and I'm going to just grab some paper towel if I can find it. Just dry it up a little bit. Okay, you can see that. Okay, now to this I'm going to, I've got some ginger over here, and I'm going to actually puree this ginger in my thermocook and then extract some of the liquid and use it as a marinade for the beef, okay? So I'll just cut off a little knob over here. Okay, I'm going to use some thermomix because there's something in my thermo, just water in my thermocook I use for something else earlier. And in the meantime, I'm just going to cut these scallions into lengths, just like at an angle, just so it looks a little bit more elegant. Okay, let's just turn this on. So that's just the ginger. Let's take some out. And I don't want the fibers in there. I'm just gonna squeeze out the juice from it, okay? Some people actually throw in ginger slices in the stir fry, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to get some of the ginger juice in this beef here, okay? And if you've got any questions, just hop on and pop it in the chat. If you're just joining me now, watching from somewhere else, go to Jackie M, www.jackiem.live, and that will take you to my Twitch broadcast where I'm streaming from, and it has a chat room where you can ask questions, you can say hello, you can tell me where you're watching from and all that. Okay, so this just got some lemon juice, and to that I'm just going to add some Shaoxing white wine. Okay, so this is the cooking wine here, Shaoxing cooking wine, and this is the most, I guess, popular brand out there, but there are others that are quite popular that are a little bit more exclusive. This is like the generic brand, right? This costs a couple of dollars at your Asian grocery store. Okay. So I want just to mix this up a bit. I'm going to throw in some pepper. And a dash of fish sauce. Okay. Just mix it up. And then I'm going to add some tapioca flour to this. So just over here, some tapioca flour. Just mix it up again. Okay. There you go. And I'm going to cut up the veggies. Just let me wash my, I can just clean my hands over here. Paper towel. Okay. So got the scallions or green onion. And I'm going to cut up these choy sum. I guess into about half, small tender pieces. So just cut them up like this, and in they go. Noah, don't touch, please. Okay, so the rice noodles, I've mentioned this before. You can buy these at Asian grocery stores. Here in Australia, you should find them on shelves that aren't refrigerated, okay, if you buy them from Asian grocery stores. If you buy them from your Western greengrocer or something like that, they probably will have them refrigerated. But we Asians actually prefer to buy these fresh. They get delivered fresh every morning at Asian grocery stores, so you buy them and then you cook them up at home. Once they're being refrigerated, like these ones have, they go a little bit hard, okay? And also, once they lose their freshness, they will tend to deteriorate to the point where they're mushy. So when they get to that stage, or if you see like green mold on it, don't use it. But basically, yeah, usually you should find them in the unrefrigerated section on shelves at Asian grocery stores here in Australia. I know in America they do refrigerate them, and also I distinctly remember finding them frozen as well, though traditionally would tell people this is not feasible, but apparently in America it's like keeping them frozen. So just get this out of the way. Okay, now the wok that I'm using, okay, this is a thin wok, okay, this is just a regular iron wok, nothing fancy. And this is the kind of wok when you're doing stir fry and you want to obtain high heat, you want a wok with a, you know, that's quite thin, okay, like this one is. You don't want any heavy base or coated or non-stick wok, right? Those are not the best for stir fries. And I've got a pretty weak flame over here, which is unfortunate, but then it kind of like, I guess, it's a proof of concept thing to show people you don't necessarily need special Chinese restaurant grade equipment to be able to produce Asian style stir fries, okay? Hey, Gay from Kurunbong, I love that ginger juice idea. Hey, Bloodbath Raw, good to have you. No, if you Bloodbath Raw, if you want to no, watch it over here on Twitch, right? Sorry, I didn't see your comment because I have I don't know what happened to my assistant Cyan. Now I'm heating up the wok without any oil at the moment, so you can see it start smoking. So you want to get it up to that level of heat before you add the oil. And I hope I don't trip the smoke alarm again like I did a few broadcasts ago. So you can see the smoke coming up, and I'm going to throw in the noodles now. Okay, so I think I'll probably have a little bit more noodles than I want. I'm just going to take a little bit out. I don't have a proper wok shovel, or whatever it is you call these things, but you know, the wok spatula thing, I don't have a proper one for this size wok. Because I don't, in all honesty, use this size wok for my business. I use the big giant ones, okay? So I'm just using this over here. And you want to tar it. Sit please, baby. I'm a little, Noah's just out of screenshot over here, but he's looking very cheeky, so he looks like he's up to mischief. So you want to just add small amounts of oil, alright? Don't use the oil, because if you use too much oil, you're going to end up not charring it, but instead causing it to deep fry almost, right? Let me see. Those noodles aren't dehydrated, are they? No, they are not dehydrated. They are fresh noodles. And if you're watching from America, like I said, I remember in Nebraska buying these, and I'm pretty sure they were frozen when I bought them. And they were like, I think they came in sheets, and I had to slice them up, and then I had to rinse them under hot tap water to get them to actually pull apart. So that was really, really troublesome. In Australia, these are literally fresh as in like, they come straight from the factory every morning. And you can use them straight, okay? You don't have to rinse them, you don't have to boil them before you stir fry it. Okay, so you can see the charring. Now I'm going to toss in some fish sauce, okay? Because that's what my brother said he did. Sit, please, Noah. Sit. Okay, good boy, yeah. Now, if you're doing stir fry, I will always tell people, right? Because people think, you can't do stir fry at home because you don't have the high pressure Chinese commercial stove. And there is some element of truth to it. But one way you can actually help get a truer replication of your food is to, first of all, like I said, use a thin wok like what they do in Chinese restaurants. Second of all, cook food in small amounts, okay? And if you don't want to try and cook your family of 4 over here, you want to cook individual serves of noodles, okay? So I'm almost sure I thought I'd stir this. I'm just going to take this out quickly. Because I kind of forgot that I probably should do the beef first. So just let me heat this up some more, and I'm going to add some more oil to this. A little bit more oil than the last time, because I'm actually going to try and cook up the beef, okay? Or cook it anyway. So the oil is heating up. So this is the beef here that's been marinating. And I'm going to throw it in. I probably use a little bit more of the tapioca powder. Hey, no, please. Sit, please, Noah. Noah, sit, please. Okay, so that's the beef. And you want to just lightly brown this at this stage. Noah, you want to eat? You want to eat? You want to eat? Yeah, good boy. Now with the bicarb of soda, you can actually leave it out, but you basically end up with beef that's quite, I guess, quite tough, right? But it will be tough and flavorsome, whereas Chinese restaurant beef, the flavor is masked by, the alkaline flavor is masked by the marinade that we use for it. Otherwise, it will taste a little bit strange. You know what I mean? If you eat a lot of Chinese stir-fried dishes that you eat. Okay, so that's cooked up. And also it will turn out like a little bit kind of like the texture is different. It might be a little bit rubbery. So some people get a little bit weirded out by it. Okay. Now I've read online, haven't tried it yet, I've read online that you can counter the bicarb flavor, the alkaline flavor with lemon juice. I didn't try it because, like I said, I'm using the Shaoxing rice wine, and lemon juice isn't generally used in Chinese stir fries. You can try it, maybe it just kind of like neutralizes everything, but I just didn't want my beef to taste lemony. So for this, I'm going to toss the noodles back in. Right, and apparently, like I said, he uses oyster sauce. And this oyster sauce poured a little bit easily because I forgot because it's so far down the bottle. I actually added some water to it the other day when I was using it. So if ever you want to do Chinese stir fries, generally the standard ingredients we use are oyster sauce, soya sauce. Like I said, fish sauce is more of a Southeast Asian thing, but you know, I never used fish sauce in Malaysia. Only when we came to Australia because of the Vietnamese immigrants over here, okay? But I've taken such a big liking to it as I've met a lot of Malaysians that I use it quite a lot in my cooking now. Okay. So what I just put in here, this is the, it says cooking caramel on the label, but it's not usually we Asians refer to. I'm going to throw in the greens now, right? What we Asians usually refer to as thick soya sauce. I don't know for whatever branding reasons or whatever, this particular company that's been making this sauce for decades at some point decided to call this cooking caramel, but we grew up knowing it as thick soya sauce. So if you see any Chinese recipes that say thick soya sauce, this is what you're looking for, cooking caramel, okay? And this is what it looks like. And sometimes it's even called, in Chinese recipes, dark soya sauce, okay? But nowadays, there's so many different types of soya sauce, it's confusing now. So nowadays, if you see a label that says dark soya sauce on the bottle, it's not actually this, it's actually just soya sauce, but a darker blue, okay? So it's very, very confusing. I'm gonna throw in the beef back into this. And I'm gonna add some pepper. Okay, so a bit of pepper. Mix it in. Now wash it down, please. Just taste test this bit. Okay, need more oyster sauce. And these a dash more fish sauce. And if you want to add a dash of sugar, go right ahead, guys. Okay. This noodle's broken up a little bit more than I would have liked because I have had it refrigerated. So refrigerating it does make it a little bit crunchy. But if you were buying it fresh, it will just like be really soft, right? So that's it here. And also I don't have a proper ladle. Hey! No. Go down, please. You are very naughty. Okay, I'm going to toss in the scallions. I should probably have tossed it in like half a minute beforehand. But I'm just going to turn it back on and just quickly toss it in. Okay. I'm just going to taste test it some more. It needs something. I feel inclined to put in my famous chicken powder. Should I? Okay, what the hell, I'll do it. Okay, if you're watching me for the first time, I use this in practically all my cooking. So this is chicken powder. It's similar to stock cubes, right? I'm so addicted to this thing. I use it in all my cooking. But of course, I'm following my brother's recipe here, so I didn't have it off the bat. Okay. And if you want a little bit more oil, a bit more than oily steam, go right ahead. Okay, there you go. It doesn't look particularly attractive here, but it looks nicer. It looks nicer in real life, okay? It's just the noodles are a little bit broken up because, like I said, it's been refrigerated, and also I'm not using a proper wok shovel. Okay, so let me see if you've got any questions. Audio is sort of beginning off when I joined was better. The beef and the noodles will be rubbery. Yes, the beef will be a touch rubbery, to be honest. Noodles aren't dehydrated. No, they're not. I can still understand. Is the dark soya sauce also shoyu? Shoyu is Japanese, right? I don't know. This is just let me get rid of this screen here for a sec. Okay. Right, hang on. Let me just. No, I do want that screen back on. Okay. So this is what it looks like. The brand here is called Cheongchan. It doesn't. You see what I mean about how hard it is to follow Asian recipes? Because like even I struggle to find where it says the brand. Okay. I know because I'm Chinese that the brand is called Cheongchan, okay? And it's an elephant. There's a picture of an elephant over here. And in English it says cooking caramel. But it's like a really dark, trickly soya sauce. Similar, I guess, to kicap manis or sweet soya sauce, but not as sweet. And also a stronger, darker color as well, okay? Probably a touch more salty. And you only use small amounts of it, right? You don't use, you know, you use it in a lot of those Asian dishes that look like they've been braised and they're like basically like a dark brown color, okay? So looks delicious. Oh, thank you, G-Morgs. I use chicken stock powder more ever since watching you. I'm sorry. I know. I promised you the company should. I should be talking to that company about getting paid for this. So there you go. This is what it looks like. You can't really see it, unfortunately. Let me just. Hopefully, you can see a contrast when I put it over here. Okay. Okay. In all honesty, it doesn't look that great. Let me have a look. Okay, if you see it, okay. It looks a bit gray, but it's just the lighting, I think. Okay, I'm gonna take a nice photo of it and you guys can have a look, right? But there you go. That's my attempt at the Cantonese beef fried noodles, or what we call 乾炒牛河. Like I said, just literally means dry fried beef noodles. And this is what it looks like. And this is my take on it. Usually, though, like I said, guys, usually they would use soya sauce instead of fish sauce, and they'll put a pinch of sugar in it, okay? But that's the main point of difference. And most recipes don't actually use Shaoxing rice wine in it. I did. And also some recipes actually put in a couple of slices of ginger when they're stir frying. I didn't do that because I figured maybe the ginger will permeate the beef marinade, hopefully anyway. Okay, let me see if there's any other questions. Okay, guys, I think I might wrap it up here. Like I said, I'm very, very conscious of my data usage because it's going to hit the point where I'm going to run out of data and I'll be paying like $50 per broadcast. And I don't want to do that. And okay, guys, I'm hoping by also this Friday, I've got another guest coming on board, and I'm going to do something with her. And also the following Friday, I'm going to start a series that's of vegan vegetarian recipes. Okay, so tell all your vegan friends to tune in. I actually, you know, in all honesty, I'm not a vegan in any way, shape or form, as you would know. But I did, in fact, use for a while, collaborate with a vegan supplier here in Sydney, Australia, by supplying them with frozen vegan meals, which were very, very popular, but just got too hard for me to maintain. But just in the last 24 hours, because of that one-off vegan broadcast I did the other day, I got contacted by a vegan television online TV channel about creating more content for them. So I'm going to dig out my old vegan recipes. And also I actually have a cookbook of vegan Buddhist vegetarian dishes that I've always meant to try, because I have these memories of going to the Buddhist temple to eat vegetarian food at an early age, which I remember as tasting very, very delicious. Like, I'm not Buddhist, by the way. Okay, I'm a hardcore born-again Christian, but I love the Buddhist vegetarian food. So I've got that cookbook. I'm looking to go through all these recipes to create all these kind of like very interesting vegan dishes, right? And some are vegetarian, but I'm going to try and tweak them so that they're all vegan, so that, you know, I can target a specific audience as such. So it looks like after this Friday, my Friday broadcasts are going to be on vegan and vegetarian dishes. But yeah, catch me this Friday. This Friday it's going to be on at 12:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and which is 8:30 p.m. the night before, Thursday, if you're based in the USA Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Thank you guys, and let's see the last comments. Thank you, Gay. Thanks so much for joining me. Thank you, Avril. Yeah, I hope let's spread the word, please, if you don't mind. Let people know. And okay, great. You have multiple cookbooks. I have one official cookbook, and I've got like a couple of compilations, but I'm talking about cookbooks that I bought into my library, but I've got a whole ton of them. I want to go through like over all these broadcasts, especially once my data is up to acceptable quota. I want to be able to experiment with so many different recipes from all my Asian cookbooks, right? Some of them aren't even in English, so it's going to be interesting to explore. So tune in, make sure you spread the word, let everyone know to join me on Twitch, which is just jackiem.live is the shortcut URL. Okay, otherwise it's twitch.tv/jackiemfood. They both take you to the same spot. Okay, thanks guys. I'll see you again. Yeah, thanks again for watching.